guys, and welcome back to my channel. It's Jess. So today I have my February reading wrap up. This month I have managed to read 6 books, which is good considering that 2.5 of the weeks of this month I was reading 2 books in particular, and then the last 4 I read in the last week and a half of the month. The first 2 books that I read were A Court of Mist and Fury and A Court of Wings and Ruin. I kind of had like a book hangover after finishing A Court of Wings and Ruin, so it took me maybe like 5-6 days to get into the next book. I was kind of just like digesting and still couldn't get over what actually happened in the book, so I was like, I needed some time. So I'm not going to go into what these 2 are about because it's the second and third book in a series, but I'm sure at this stage anyone who has read A Court of Thorns and Roses knows what these are about, but I don't want to ruin them for anyone who hasn't read them yet. So yeah, the next book I managed to pick up after finally overcoming my book hangover, and that was The Hazelwood by Melissa Albert. 2.5 stars to this book. That's being really generous, and I think I gave it a 3 stars on Goodreads because you can't do half stars, but in reality it was 2.5. I think I went into this with a little kind of a preconception it was going to go a certain way, and it didn't, so I couldn't really connect to the character really, and I didn't really enjoy it because of that. What this book is about is a girl called Alice whose grandmother is famous for writing fairy tales, and Alice and her mother are constantly on the move from bad luck, and when Alice's mother gets a letter saying that her mother, Alice's grandmother, has died, she finally thinks bad luck has left. It doesn't explain why, it just says that the mother tells Alice that the bad luck is finally over and that they can finally settle down and have a normal life and not move from state to state. So her mother settles down with a guy and they get married, and she is suddenly living in a house with her new stepdad and new stepsister. And one day Alice comes home from school to find that her mother and stepsister and stepdad have gone missing. Her stepdad and stepsister are returned within a couple of hours. They won't tell her where her mother has been taken, only that it was strange, and Alice now has to find them. She thinks her mother's been taken to the Hazelwood, so she and another guy from her school who was like a #1 fan of her grandmother, of her writing, embark on a journey to get to the Hazelwood. That's all I can really say in regards to not giving any spoilers, because it's basically like it's loosely put on the back of the book, but it was darker. It was really darker than I was expecting. I was expecting kind of fairy tale-esque. It wasn't even fairy tale-esque. It was kind of, I can't explain it, just it didn't sit well with me. Like, not that it was like too gruesome around, it was just I really didn't enjoy this book. To me, it gave off the vibe that it was going to be something more than what it was, and it just fell flat. Like, the concept could have been taken a lot better. Like, it could have been taken a lot higher, and the author could have done more with the concept, but it kind of felt like it was like the first like 20% of the book was like a build up, and then if you're expecting to kind of hit climax and like the big reveal at the end, but it's like it kind of hit like 20% and then it's went all downhill from there, if that makes sense. So yeah, it was worth my time reading, but I wouldn't read it again. I next picked up one of my only 5-star reads this month. No, sorry, it's my first 5-star read of the month, and that is The Extinction Trials by S.M. Wilson. Oh, look at this. Just, oh my god. This is easily the best book I have read this year, hands down. It is just an amazing concept. It's executed perfectly. It's so good. Like, it's about a girl called Storm Chaser who's living in a kind of dystopian fantasy world where dinosaurs still roam, and they have this thing called the Trials, where they basically send people to this island where the dinosaurs are, where they live. They try and find food and they try and find resources, because all the humans are kept on like a small island compared to what the dinosaurs have, and they're running low on everything, on food, on resources, on water, and everything. So they send every year or a couple of years, they send a lot of volunteers over to try discover new things to help them basically survive. And this year Storm Chaser puts her hat in the ring and she is picked to go, and it's told in two point of views. It's told in her point of view, and I think it's Lincoln, is it? Lincoln? Yeah, Lincoln. And Lincoln is another guy who has a family there's a sickness in this book. They don't know what causes it or what cures it, but only the really, really, really rich get treatment. So he wants to go do the trials, and it's promised that whoever returns from the trials with like the most information or the most like crucial things will get like the best of everything, the best food, the best medical treatments, the best homes. So it's kind of like in the sense of like the Hunger Games, where they return and they're victors and they get like to get rewards for it. So his reason for doing it is that he wants to get treatment for his little sister. And Storm Chaser's reason for doing it is she has nobody. She is an orphan and she lives in like these orphan shelters. So she kind of thinks she has nothing to lose, and she has this strange connection to I'll tell you now, a plesiosaur. It's like one of them kind of Loch Ness Monster looking kind of dinosaurs. She swims with it, they get on great, so she's kind of a little bit upset that they want to find information on this island to destroy all the dinosaurs. So she's going in a way of trying to stop them and they're trying to convince everyone not to kill the dinosaurs. That's all I'm going to say about it, because anything else would be a spoiler, but it's just, anyone who can get their hands on this, read it, please, because it's absolutely amazing. So yeah, that's that. I then reread Shatter Me by Tahereh Mafi. It's about a girl, I think Ava decided has read it, and I can't remember the main girl's name. Julia. God, mind fart. It's about a girl called Julia who has been held in a room for like 260 something days, when a guy is suddenly put into her room and she thinks he's been sent there to kill her. Her touch kills, so she thinks this is like their way of tormenting her because she can't get close to anybody. And she is then taken from the room and asked to join the re-establishment by this guy called Warner. He is the head of the re-establishment, which is basically they want to take over everything. Well, what's left of everything. It's dystopian, so it's kind of in a war-torn future, if that makes sense. And it's just about her and Adam trying to fight for what they believe in is right, and figuring out who's with them and who's against them. And it's a really good read. I give it 4 stars. I've read it before. I knew what I was reading. I'm trying to reread this series before Stormy comes out, so I'm gonna read the next book this month, which is Unravel Me. So yeah, that's that. The last book I picked up in February, was the last day of February, is Abby Glines' Breed. This is the 4th book in the Sea Breeze series. I absolutely love Abby Glines. I've read all her books apart from the Sea Breeze series. I've read the Vincent Brothers, I've read the 3 trilogy, I've read the Rosemary Beach, I read the Friday Night series. So this is the only kind of series I haven't read yet. I read Breed about 4 years ago when I first got into the Rosemary Beach. Didn't like it as much as the Rosemary Beach, but I thought I'd give it a try, so I recently bought the whole of Abby Glines' Sea Breeze series, which is about like, I think it's 10 books or 9 books. So I'm currently going to reread them. I've already read the 2nd book to this series, but that was in March, so that's not counting that. So this is about a girl called Sadie who lives with her single mother who is pregnant and can't work. So her mother then talks Sadie into going to her job for her and just working and basically supporting her and her mother. And when Sadie gets to her job, which is a domestic help, she realises she is working for teen heartthrob Jack Stone. doesn't affect her in any way. She's not a fan, so that intrigues Jax because she's not falling all over him and romance ensues. Anyone who's ever read Abby Lyons books knows that this is usually how her books go. So if you're looking for a new adult romance, Abby Lyons is the one to read. So yeah, that is all the books I have managed to read this month. I hope you guys enjoyed my video, and please share down below what you guys read this month. I would love to know. And please subscribe and like this video and follow me on my social media, and we can talk on there. See you all in my next video. Bye.